I'm so excited, Destiny, because you have this wonderful album, Out of the Shadows, coming here. Talk about the themes that you explore on it.
Yes, well, thank you, Jamie, so much for having me. I'm so excited to be speaking with you and talking about my new and upcoming music. So, I actually, Out of the Shadows is actually out. That is one of my albums that is out. And then I have my album, Kissed by an Angel, and then my album, Sweet Persuasion. So, I have three albums out right now, which I'm very proud of. And I'm working on my fourth album, and I'm currently recording. I have a single coming off of that album called Say My Name. Probably we're going to announce the date. It's coming out in the next few months, but I'm super, super excited about this first glimpse into my new album because it is a mental health focused song. I do have a mental health podcast, the Destiny Malibu podcast. So I'm really excited to like incorporate that into my music.
Why is that such an important theme then for you, as far as the podcast and now incorporating into your music?
So mental health is something that I've always been extremely passionate about. And I actually did a high school and college tour not too long ago. And it was really interesting because mental health is always something I've been passionate about in my own life. It's affected me, it's affected friends, it's affected family members. And I'm trying to find that just like emotional balance in life because, life is not always easy. And when I was touring high schools and colleges, I was really, really shocked that it's pretty crazy to even say this, but every single school that I went to, almost every single school that I went to, the administration would come up to me and be like, "Hey, we just want to let you know, like the kids are kind of down because there's been a suicide this week, like at school." And the kids don't know how to feel about it. And that like really just like blew my mind because I knew that like mental health had affected me and people in my life, but I didn't realize that it was such a big issue like amongst kids that are in like high school and college. Like, you would, it's just proof that like mental health can affect anybody at any age. So I wrote this song called Say My Name, which is going to be the first single that we're releasing off of my fourth upcoming album. And this song is the story, a little glimpse into my mental health journey. And there's, I sing and I rap, so there's singing and rapping. I can give you guys that hint. But it's going to be really interesting to see how people relate and react to it because it's a pretty, it's like a pop style song. It's not like a super sad song, but it's just talking about how to get through mental health struggles. So I really hope that that's like impactful and makes difference for some people.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to exploring Say My Name because mental health is a big issue these days, especially for the youth and myself as well. So I'm excited to explore this and see the lyrics and learn more about the song when it's ready to release. What is your songwriting process? Do you need to have lyrics before you come up with the music, or does the lyrics just find you and then you find the music along the way?
Well, Jamie, it depends kind of like on the day. I'd say like it's a little bit different each time. Sometimes like I'll literally be like blow drying my hair and like I'll like a melody will pop in my mind and I'll like grab my phone and I'll record it so I don't forget it. Sometimes I'm like playing my guitar and I come up with a melody there and then I start working from a guitar riff and then adding lyrics. I've written songs like completely a cappella and then added instrumentation after. I have also worked with amazing producers who have been like, "Hey, do you want to top line my track?" And they have a track and then they send it to me and then I write something to that. So there's a lot of different methods and I kind of just try to let it flow, like whatever feels natural and right and where the inspiration hits, like I'm just going to go with it. So a lot of different ways that comes about.
You touched on working on producers for your music. Do you have a hand when it comes to the production side as well? Do you say, this is how I'd like it to sound? Or do you trust in the process what they have?
It depends on the producer. I work with multiple different producers. I would say, 99% of the time I'm very involved and I'm usually like sitting in there and we're talking about, I have like an idea of a sound I want. We try to create that sound. But there's sometimes like I work with a producer named Vodka, and he is incredible, and like he's kind of like a musical soulmate for me. Like we just get each other. And if he has a track idea and he's like, hey, this is, the way I want to take it, I just trust him fully. So it kind of depends, but it's taken me many years to find someone like him where like we have that synchronicity. So
Well, as far as upcoming tours go, I know you have a ton of albums out and new music on the way. Do you have any plans to tour in the near future?
yes, so I definitely, when this album comes out, my fourth album, I'm probably going to hit the road. I do have a tour bus, which is super cool, and taking that to different colleges and schools. I've performed internationally, like in Singapore and Jamaica, and different awesome places. And so I can't wait to get back on the road because truly, like, I love writing, I love recording, but nothing makes me happier than performing, with musicians, with a band, and then feeding off of the energy of like everybody that comes, and like just how much energy like we create in the room together is just so beautiful. So that's definitely my favorite thing about being an artist. And I just recently I have been performing at the Virgin Hotel Las Vegas. So that's been really, really fun. And I've been doing shows there, and it's been a huge success. So I'm just so excited to venture out to more casinos because I'm currently in Las Vegas right now. So I'm venturing out to more casinos. And then when this album comes out, I'm probably going to hit the road. So very exciting.
You're a part of social media. Why is that such an important way for you to connect with your fans?
So social media is something that, it's a catch 22 because it's got its pros and it's got its cons for sure. We look at someone like Selena Gomez who like swore off social media for like 2 years. Now she's back. I think social media, like artists, even like probably, I don't know, even like just 20 years ago, like that wasn't like really like a thing. But what I like about social media is that you're able to connect with people on such a deeper level. Like let's say like when Elvis was, super popular, people only really saw him at shows or on magazines or on a talk show. And nowadays with artists, it's like you get the opportunity to invite your community and your fans and your followers into your life, like on a personal level. And I think that's really special because I think it allows you to form more of a friendship with your followers rather than, just like, oh, you see me, on TV or whatever. It's like people, depending on how much you choose to share as an artist, people can actually feel like you're actually like friends. And I think that's really, really cool.
Yes, it is a double-edged sword, but you do get to make an impact as well on the people that you touch. Um, in fact, you're going to be doing that just now with Say My Name, and hopefully people
Yeah.
will be reaching out and letting you know how mental health is important for them as well. Um, you do have this mental health podcast. Are there some tips or some advice that you could give people who are struggling at the moment with their mental health?
Yes, absolutely. So I have a podcast called the Destiny Malibu podcast, and I do the show with my sister, and she's a DJ, and she goes by DJ Desi. And we talk about, things that we have experienced on our mental health journeys. And one of the things that, if I could say, like, in a quick summary, something that I think is really important and I talk about on the show is something I call the 7 pillars of mental health. And it's something that I think if people kind of like remember to check in with themselves and check in with those 7 pillars, I think it can be extremely, extremely beneficial. And it's something that I kind of made up on my own when I was really struggling and when I was, getting through recovery of some time in my life when my mental health wasn't so good. And I was trying to pinpoint, what is it that is going to make, what is it that makes life feel fulfilling and whole and good. And so I made a list for myself, and it's something that I always go back to anytime I'm feeling like not 100%. I mean, not that we're ever 100%, but when I need a little extra help. And those 7 pillars are, the first one is self-love. And I talk about the importance of really building a relationship with yourself. I think that that is one of the most foundational aspects of mental health. And when I go into detail in this on the podcast, but I'll just say a quick summary. Self-love, purpose. I think being aware of what your purpose is in life and what makes you tick and what drives you. Because even if you don't know what your purpose is, like everybody has something that they excel in. Even if you haven't found it yet, everybody has an area in life where they excel in. And that's the direction you should go, because that's probably a gift that you have. So finding your purpose, social life. I think it's so important to find people in your life that are going to add and are going to encourage you during hard times, people that you can turn to when you're having a hard time, to someone you can talk to. Community is so, so, so important. And I know that when we struggle with mental health, a lot of times we tend to isolate. So I like to encourage, really finding your community. Another thing is I put these into different categories because I think they're equally important. Exercise. I think that sometimes we overlook the importance of exercise and all the benefits it has, not only for us physically, but mentally. Mentally, exercise is extremely helpful. We talk about that. Food, what you're eating. I'm really passionate about nutrition, and I found a lot of very interesting information about the connection between your gut and how your gut is feeling and your brain, and how our gut is actually called the second brain, because if we're not eating the right foods, it actually can affect our mood, which is really, really interesting. We go into detail about that. 6 is nutritional supplements. I think that there's a lot of nutritional supplements on the market that are really helpful. And I've really, really, really seen a difference in my life. And there's so much literature on the benefits of vitamin D supplements and your multivitamins, and how a lot of our food today is missing so many nutrients, which again affects our mental health. So that's really important. And then 7, the last pillar of mental health that we talk about on the podcast, is hope. And I think that hope is so important to hold on to. And I think when people are having struggles, a lot of times it's hope when people are at a point of, maybe suicidal depression and versus regular depression. I think the first thing to go at that point when they transition to that is hope. And one of the things that Say My Name, my new single, is really talking about is hope. So I'm always encouraging people to always look for the silver lining and hope for that better day, and that it is coming. So I encourage my listeners to always check in those 7 areas, anytime they're feeling down, and ask themselves what area am I maybe falling short in a little bit? And I have found that to be extremely helpful for me, because life is busy, and sometimes you don't realize that maybe you haven't worked out in a month, or you're running around, or maybe you didn't realize that, oh crap, I didn't take my multivitamin the last 3 weeks. That's definitely happened to me. So I just think it's a really beneficial check in with yourself. And we go into so many different things on the podcast, but that's if I could get one thing to people, those are the 7 things that I think are really beneficial for mental health, or a starting point.
Those are great touchstones, and I'm sure people will take it to heart once they see our interview here. We loved you, I should say, also on American Idol. What advice, or
Oh,
what did you personally take away from your experience on the show?
that was such a cool experience. I mean, I met Katy Perry, Lionel Richie, Luke Bryan, and it was very nerve wracking because I'm used to performing and I have performed all over. But when you're performing in front of people that you've looked up to your whole life, a little scary, I will say. But it was super cool, and they were all super nice. And I was on a few episodes. I was actually on the commercial for the ball drop in New York for the season I was on. So those were just huge bucket list things for me. I didn't win, but it was an incredible experience. And I'm just so honored that I got the opportunity to talk with people of that, level. So it was very cool.
Who is someone you would love to collaborate with on a song in the future?
There's a lot of people I love to listen to, but I will say I am a huge believer. So I love Justin Bieber. And yeah, he was kind of like when I was young, when I was really little, when I was like in I don't know how old I was, probably eighth grade. I was like obsessed with Justin Bieber, and he was like my computer background. So, I mean, if I ever got to do a song with him, that would be amazing. I love Haley Bieber. I think they're adorable. And then Rihanna, I'm a huge Rihanna fan. I think she's incredible. So those would probably be my top two.
What would you like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of the beautiful music that you make, Destiny?
I would like to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you guys so, so much. And every single stream, every single person who likes my stuff or comments, like it means the world to me. And when I get messages, like on Instagram or TikTok, I have like some fan accounts and people are like reposting, a bunch of things that I do. And I think it's incredible. Sometimes I have to sit back and be like, wow, like I'm actually making an impact. And that's all that I really care about in life is like making an impact in someone else's life. So thank you so much to every single person who streams my music, who, follows me, who cares about what I'm doing, because I care about you guys. And it's just so special to like have that connection with people. So thank you.